Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. It kind of looks like a mess over my shoulder right now, doesn't it? Well, it's kind of a mess, but what I did was I pulled out all of the parts that we're going to need to do today's project. Mainly, we're talking about electrical, pre-wiring, doing some roughing for some electrical. I didn't show the last episode, or not the last episode, I didn't show any video of what I did yesterday. I should have. I just got so engrossed in the project, as you can kind of see over the background. We have some paneling up now, and I'll show you what I did yesterday. So we'll kind of do a review of what I did yesterday, and then we will go into today's episode. Well, let's go ahead and get today started. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Well, that is what is left of those 5 pieces of 4x8 pieces of plywood that we picked up downtown about a week ago. That's all that's left because I cut it all up and it's all installed right now. Well, it's not really installed. It is in a temporary. I just have 1 or 2 screws on each one of the boards holding it to the Tiki Bar because I have to pull all the panels off because I haven't done any electrical and I need access to all the stud framing inside here to be able to do the electrical today. At least that's what the plan is. Let's go ahead and take a look and see some of the things that I did yesterday. So as you can see, we have some paneling installed. The paneling on the inside, this I went ahead and put all of the screws in. So these are mounted the way they're going to stay. These just have a couple of screws on the top because we're going to drop these panels down because this is where we're going to put some of our service outlets, some of our USB extensions, switch, and things like that. And I also have, you can see on the outside, all the paneling is pretty much in place on the outside, here and here, but this is all going to come off. We're going to pull it back because I need access to the framework inside there for the electrical roughing. You can see I have this in. So it's starting to look a little bit more like a bar. But there's a lot of work that has to be done from this point. I still have to do the grinding with the granite wheels, the different layers of granite wheels to start smoothing this. So this needs to end up looking similar to this right here. All around here, all on the inside here, all of this right here, and all the way around on both sides. So that is finishing. I'm not going to do that until actually I do most of all the major cutting, installation of the wiring and things like that. That'll be the very finishing end. I still have some more epoxy that I need to put inside the little crack in between the joining of the 2 granite pieces. Let me show you up underneath. People were concerned about support. What I did, and I actually still have some of the, well, that's going to stay. These I'll kick out here in just a moment. But what I did was I put some 2x4 along here to do a little bit of support under the center. For some reason, normally, I will tell you, normally granite, the way they do it in the Philippines, they normally run a cement slab. You'll have a cement slab underneath here, then you'll put tile adhesive and you'll put the granite right on top of your granite slab. Give support to your granite. In the US, what they will do, they will frame in, basically kind of like framing in what we've kind of done here, but the frame will come out to here. There will be plywood on top of the framing, and then your granite will go on top of your plywood frame with tile adhesive as well, but similar to what you would do in the Philippines. But Philippines, cement. US is going to be wood support. Now here, granite is really strong, but you still have to be careful in case somebody sits on it. And there's going to be more stuff done here. But for the time being, to protect this lower section, I ran a 2x4 support along here. This is staying inside here, and I'm going to do a decorative, maybe if I have enough granite left over, I'm going to put a decorative granite facing on this right here, and this is going to be storage. It's going to be for one of a couple of things. It's either going to be to store some water bottles, or it's going to be a drain bottle for a sink or something like that, but this will be storage inside of here. So here's my framing work here. Now, eventually what's going to happen, I'm going to put another support along the bottom. It's going to come from here across, and then I'm going to put additional support underneath here for support underneath this granite section right here. And we'll make some cabinets inside here so we can store stuff behind the cabinet doors. We're going to do that on both sides. That's going to do two things. That's going to give us some support for the granite, and basically in the center right there. And what it's going to do is going to give us storage space underneath the bar. We also might, I'm not sure, we might put a small refrigerator down here, a rough unit underneath here. We already have a big Samsung, not a Samsung, it's an LG refrigerator, and that's going to come up to, I don't know, about here. And was planned to put it over in this corner right here. We'll see how that works. Or instead of a small mini fridge inside here, maybe we'll put a wine chiller. We'll see. So what I want to work on this morning is the side where I'm going to put some of the electrical outlets. I want to put electrical outlets inside here. I want to put some electrical outlets along the bottom. Over here, I want to put the circuit breaker. So we'll start building all of that. We also, remember, up underneath here, up underneath the granite, we're going to be putting the LED strip lighting. That's these items right here. So we'll be putting those on the inside, underneath this section right here, as well as underneath this part of the bar out here. It's time for me to stop talking and start working. So let me go ahead and kind of draw out where I want to put all these outlets, and then start cutting some holes and start doing some wiring. This is really coming out really nice down here. I'm working on today, is what I started working on 3 days ago, is doing some of the profiling. The profiling on the edge of the granite, it comes raw, it comes non-finished, which is normally the back side when you put it up against the wall, like if you put a countertop in the kitchen up against the wall. The back side, they don't finish it, so it will fit nice and flush up underneath, basically like your backsplash. So that's what I'm working on today, and I worked on it 3 days ago, and I had to stop for the last couple of days. And the reason I had to stop is because there were some unexpected things that happened. There are always unexpected things in life, and we are no exception here at Villa Feliz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get maybe I'll go sit on the back porch real quick, and I will, because the echo is not as bad out there as it is down here in the basement. So let's go ahead up on the next floor, sit out on the lanai, on the patio, and let's talk about what happened over the last couple of days. Well, I think it's much better back here. I think the acoustics are so much better, and of course, Hapon, you think the acoustics are better back here? Yeah. He thinks it's better here as well. So I just want to talk about some events that happened over the last couple days leading up to why I'm so far behind on the Tiki Bar project. I expected to be almost done at this point right here. Well, almost done to the point where we can start doing the finishing meaning the bamboo, an actual thing that make it look tiki. But we're far off from that at this point, minus a couple of days. And we're a couple of days behind because of a couple of events that happened, unexpected events, that you kind of have to work into your plan. You always have to work for the unexpected. And 2 days ago, we had a water blockage here. We had a water blockage and from our kitchen sink that takes the water away from the house. Something that you might need to think about when you are designing your build and you're working with your plumber. Hopefully you have a qualified licensed plumber. Unlike us here, we had a totally unqualified plumber, and then we had a contractor who took the place of the plumber who was semi-qualified to do a lot of the things that was done here. But you have to, if you watch the series, the Villa Feliz series, you'll see that there were a lot of corrections that we had to do while we were building. But you have to have a strategy, and one of the strategies that you have to have when you are doing your plumbing, when you are designing your plumbing, you have to have things like P-traps so that you have access. You have to have cleanouts like on the outside for your septic tank, and it'd be nice to have a cleanout as well if you are doing your regular gray water, which is the stuff from your sink that's going to maybe a storm sewer or things that you're evacuating from your house. Well, luckily down in the basement we had we have a P-trap. Fly, go away, fly. Sorry about that. So we have a P-trap for the kitchen sink where we can try to see water going from there, and if anything gets lodged inside there. So what we did, I'm going to try to make a long story short here. We had a bad blockage, a really bad blockage, and we used a product called Green Gobbler, and it's one of those kinds, you can buy it by different names even in the US, and it goes inside and it kind of breaks up the grease and gunk that clogs up your pipes. Unfortunately, this blockage was so bad, I spent one entire day trying to get to it. Now, if I had one of these things called a snake, I think they call it in the Philippines, I think they call it a drain auger. In the US, we call it a snake. A plumber's auger, drain auger, and it's basically a little wire that has something that will break up. You keep pushing it down your pipes and you try to break up any clogs that are inside there. So make sure when you are designing your plumbing, that especially from the kitchen, that you can have a clear access between a P-trap where you can open up the bottom and go reverse, or drop any gunk that falls inside, or if you drop something like maybe a ring or something like that. The P-trap is normally under the sink directly, but further down in the chain of your pipes, that you have access to a P-trap as well, which we do. We're lucky that we have that here, but it's not a straight route to it, which is kind of bad in design. So that's what caused us a problem. Oh, by the way, we kind of got the drain unclogged with using 3 packs of the Green Gobbler, but we'll have to continue. Now, recommendation when it comes to building a house in the Philippines and having drains, and it's not uncommon to what you would also have in other places around the world, because anything can get clogged. There's no perfect design, but basically one thing is, don't ever pour grease down your sink that goes through your pipes. Quickest way to clog it up. But unfortunately, sometimes when you're washing off, if you save your grease or put your grease elsewhere on your pots and pans that have coatings of grease inside, they will eventually clog up your pipes as well. Maintenance, proper maintenance. Once a month, use something like Green Gobbler to pour down your drain, let it dissolve, break all that up, so it will be removed through your sewer system. Okay, that was the problem that we had 2 days ago. Then yesterday I couldn't work at all on the Tiki Bar because I broke a tooth. One of my molars, my molar back here, it shattered in half. So I had half of the molar back there. Now that brings up the topic of dental work in the Philippines, and that's a concern. Everybody's always asking about, where do I go for a doctor? Where do I go? Mainly for a doctor, and a dentist is a kind of a doctor as well. Well, they are a doctor. So I am so fortunate. We are so blessed that, as you know, that we are, or I am a member of the Rotary Club Lipa South. And being a Rotarian, a lot of times the people that are members are professionals, and we have doctors and dentists and lawyers and contractors and architects and bankers and all these professional people that make part of our organization, our club, our Rotary Club Lipa South. And lucky for me, one of those professionals is a dentist, and that's Dr. Lynn Tenorio, and Dr. Maria Lynn Tenorio. And so I got on the phone. I panicked. And we actually have a messenger chat that we can go on. I'm like, what's her phone number? I need immediate assistance, because it was open. My tooth was all open inside there. So we contacted her, and she said, come in immediately first thing in the morning. And she pushed her schedule back. She had an office full of people down there. She pushed the schedule back so she could do emergency attention to my shattered tooth. She took care of the tooth right away, and I'll put a link in the description block today of her Facebook page if you are in the Leap area and you need some immediate attention, that you could go to her office as well. But she took care of everything. It was nice because we know her, and I felt very comfortable around her. So that was a good situation. And I want to thank you. Rotarian Lynn, for helping me out and taking care of us and accepting us on a moment's notice and at a really great price too. So that's our story for the last couple of days. I'm good. I'm back in action again, and today is working into the 3 days behind on the Tiki Bar. Also, what we did after we left the dentist's office, I was like back to new again. We went down and we did some shopping for some more materials for the Tiki Bar and some furnishings. And we're not going to show you the furnishings yet because it's kind of neat. There's one or two more items that we need for that. And these are seating type of things, and we'll show you those once we start. I have to clean up. I can't even take the cover off of anything in the basement right now because the basement is covered literally because I'm doing all the granite grinding down there because everything is kind of permanent now on the Tiki Bar, and I can't take it outside and do grinding. So we'll show. I think you'll be excited about some of the furniture options that we picked for the Tiki Bar and the media, the multimedia area, multimedia room, stage, band kind of area as well. So let's go back down inside the basement. Let's look at where we are currently in the Tiki Bar project, and then I need to get to work.
All right.
All right, well, here we are back in the basement, and what I'm going to do this morning, I'm going to show you what I did over the last few days. Well, you know what I did over the last couple of days, but the difference from the last episode up to where we are right now. So there has been some progress that has been done down here on the Tiki Bar, mainly working with the granite here. Then I'll show you some of the techniques that I use. I'll show you some of the neat things I've integrated into the bar. Sitting down trying to think out of the box, how can I make things work? I think you'll be excited about some of that as well. So let's go ahead and go behind the bar, kind of behind the scenes, and see what happened with the Tiki Bar project. And you can see we have some electrical. We have some electrical work inside here. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. This is what I'm using. It's a bucket of water with a sponge that I'm using with polishing pad. It's best to use wet, do a wet polishing than it is dry, and you'll save your pad a lot more, and you get a finer finish. So anyway, you can see I'm starting on this edge. This was rough. This was nothing but straight, and it had it had no profile on here, almost like a bull nose, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. Let's go ahead and start with the electrical. All the electrical is done. Here's my breaker, my 20 amp breaker that I have here for the devices that go. We're going to put a popcorn machine up here. Here's our switch down here, and our switch gives power to this little DC power supply. And you'll be excited about this. This DC power supply powers the lights for the bar. Then you see I have service outlets. I have a service outlet there, service outlet there. And these service outlets, these are universal. So you can put any kind of plug inside here. The round European kind of ones, the straight US type, and these have grounded. These all have a earth ground connected that to the house earth ground that goes out to outside of the house. Here is a convenience outlet, a USB convenience outlet. Is what I've been using to charge my phone back here. Underneath here, you can see I also have, as well, I have a service outlet there, and I have a service outlet over here. They're probably saying, James, what is this over here? Well, I'm going to tell you what that is. First of all, we're going to have a sink here. There's going to be a sink here with a water supply, a faucet going into the sink here. But how do you get water? Remember, this was never roughed in for water. We have no water anywhere around here, or we have no drain. So what I came up with is I installed this thing called the Bottled Water System 5000 series. And what this does right here, there'll be two little pipes that come out here. One is an inlet. You can kind of see, let me see if I can get back here. You can kind of see there's a like a bottle, a water bottle, and there is a little symbol that shows the sink for the spigot, for the faucet. So what it does, let's go ahead and go to the box. I think the box is over here. So let's take a look at the box for this, and we'll give you a better idea. Here's our faucet right here. This is a SCFA water faucet, and this will connect up to that device you just saw underneath the bar, underneath the Granite. And it's normally made for like a coffee maker, or it's made for like a place that does not have a plumbed in water supply behind a refrigerator, if you have an ice maker or a water dispenser. But you can also use it as a clean water supply for a sink. So if you want water from one of these kind of devices, and you don't want to put this to cool the water, and if you just have bottled purified water or filtered water, and you want to drink from the sink tap, you can have one of these things right here, and it will connect one pipe to a water bottle, and the other end goes to either your refrigerator or to your water tap in your sink, or to your coffee maker if you have that. It's a really neat system. And as you can see, there's a little device that goes down inside your water bottle. It comes with a power supply, some instructions, and that's what we're going to use to provide water to our water tap right here. So that's an exciting upgrade as well. Let's go ahead and see what else we have back here. Oh, I also installed this handy dandy. It's for, you can use it for trash. It's clean, it's all plastic. You could put ice if you want to put ice inside here. Or you can do anything that you want to with this. Mainly, I have a feeling we'll probably be using this like for beer bottle caps and things like that. Trash, regular trash. It's very easy to take it out, throw trash in a bigger trash bag or something like that, and then put this back in. And we'll integrate it. And I'll put some kind of nice finish. Maybe I'll put the bamboo, which is the bamboo that's going to be going around the rest of it. So I think, is that everything? Oh, what I'm going to do here also, since this is kind of sticking far out, and I made this indentation so that I can get to the sink right here, I'm going to drill a 1 centimeter hole here for that spigot, that water faucet over there to go through here. It's nice because it will separate. It's got an Allen screw on it. You can just pull out the 1 centimeter width of the little pipe that comes up here, put it back in, mount it back. It has 2 little O-rings. It'll stay watertight, and it'll look nice. And if it won't bend, nobody can break it off because it'll be held in right here. The under sink, I have an well, I didn't show you that either. I have an under sink, they call it under counter sink, that will be mounted from the bottom. I had to order. We'll talk about that later as well too, about the challenges I had for the mounting hardware for that. But I noticed when I come up and stand right here, see where I'm standing? This is a little bit far back. So what I'm going to do, similar to this, with about the same profile, I'm going to cut a little bit of this out so that you have a way to move in here. So the only other thing I want to show you here, I just want to show you the lights. It's kind of cool. We have the, you can see we have the LED lights, and there's LED lights underneath the counter so you can see everything here. For the backsplash right here, which we are going to do a backsplash, and I did green on the outside. You should see this at nighttime. It looks really cool at nighttime. So we have lighting, and I think the green lighting will look great with the bamboo. You can kind of see the effect on the natural wood color right here. Oh, and this is a leftover piece from an umbrella stand. It comes in multiple sizes, and this is the perfect size for the plug that needs to go down and plug into that area so you conceal your wire. You don't have it hanging over the edge. You conceal the wire for the popcorn machine. The wire actually goes underneath. You won't even see it anywhere on the Granite. So anyway, that's about it for now. I hear the doorbell. I got to run upstairs and see what that is, and then get back to work here. All right, so I'm done with the profiling for the amount of the Granite that I'm working on right now. I have to go to a different stage of the Granite. So you can see it's actually, I don't know if you can see, but it's actually pretty smooth. Now, what it needs a buffing pad, and there's actually some compounds that you could put to get a real nice luster. I don't have the buffing pad. I looked at it the other day at Wocon, and I just didn't want to pay the expense, but I might end up having to get maybe an inexpensive buffing pad to kind of do it. It's the same kind of buffing pad that you can use to buff wax off of your vehicle as well. All right, so let's talk about how you get from this finish right here, this very rough cut directly from a diamond blade saw, to a finish similar to this right here. So what you're going to do, you're going to start with a blade like this one. This is called a Granite grinding wheel, and it's for granite. It says right there for granite. This is for the different size grinders. There's like 4-inch grinders, 5-inch grinders. The Bosch that I have here is a 4-inch grinder. So you put this on and you do your profile. You get your rounded edge. You use this. It's a lot of work. There's a much easier way to do that. There are actually profile wheels, and I'll do a picture of what the profile wheel looks like along with what I'm explaining right here. But what it is, you can either use it, there's one made for a router and there's one made for a grinder, just like this. You attach the wheel on there and you just run it along the side like you would be doing routing on wood, and it will give you a nice profile. And you get different types of detail profile. You can get like a bull nose, you can get like half round, you can get these really fancy type of edging, like if you were making a desk for maybe your office. It's so much easier. Unfortunately, I can't find any place around that has this. Everybody uses these, and it takes like 10 times longer to do this with much less of a professional. Well, it can be very professional, but you have to be very patient. It takes a long time. Anyway, so this is the first step. You would grind everything, get your profile. Then you use each one of these pads inside here, these grinding pads. They call them polishing pads, polishing grinding pads. And you start with a 50, and you can look on the back. You can see it will talk about each one. If you see right here, you have coarse and you have fine applications that you're going to be doing. So you normally would start with something that's very coarse, which is the 50. Then you go to a 150, you go to a 200, 300 is actually a 500 and an 800, but I forgot to get those. So I went to 1,000. Once you get to 300, I believe 300 starts, no, 500. 500, sorry. 500 starts your fine. 500, 800, 1,000, 2,000, and then 3,000. This is 3,000 on here. Now you see it's all worn off on the edge. Because of the composition of some of the wheels, when you start getting towards the finer grit on there, they start breaking down much easier. And especially if you skip an application like the 500 and 800 I said I skipped. If you skip it, what's going to happen is your 1,000, the ones above it, are going to be trying to compensate for that lack of grinding on there, and they'll wear out a lot faster. That was my bad on this one here, but it's okay. I think we'll be fine. Then once you get all this done, and what you're going to do, you're going to get a buffer. There's a buffer, not for this right here, but it's a variable speed buffer that you can use because you don't want to go too fast. And it has a nice buffing pad. The same thing as if you were putting wax on your vehicle, and then you want to take it off with a buffing pad, an electrical, mechanical buffing pad. You would do that for the next. And then you would get your it'd be nice and shiny, which this is not. So I'm going to have to come back like, the only reason you see it a little bit shiny now, because this is a little wet. But it'll be dull looking without that buffing pad. So the entire thing, when we get done, I'm going to see if I can find somebody that has one. If not, maybe I'll pick one up, and then we'll do a final buffing. And there's some compounds you can actually use, almost like a wax compound, to give a very nice shiny luster to your countertop. All right, next thing I want to deal with is, the next step is I need to cut out an opening here, and I need to cut a section for the under mount sink. Now, before I close for today, let me show you the progress that I made today on the Tiki Bar. So, as you can see, I achieved my objective to do the cutout right here for me to walk up. So you see I'll walk up inside here. And I have plenty of room now that I can access. Well, there would be a sink right there, not a hole in the granite. And there'll be a faucet right here. It will be very easy for me to turn on. I also did the cutout. You see I got the cutout done today for the under counter sink, which is this sink right here. So let me show you kind of how this works. So as you can see, the under counter sink will go something like this. I got one hand, but it'll look nice and finished here like this, and it will be mounted. Silicone will seal it, and then I have some brackets. So they ordered actually on Amazon.com. They have it on Lazada, but it takes like half a month to get here. Lazada is a little bit slower because it comes from China. So hopefully the other one will be in just a few days. We'll mount it on here, and we'll start doing the plumbing hardware. Okay, well that's about it for today. I really need to get the cleaning done and have dinner. And I think first take a shower because I am really covered with this granite dust here. Also, one more thing. Ballot buying shipment came in. So there's more projects in there. So once this project gets done, I don't think I will ever be without projects. But I need to space the projects out a little bit further apart from each other. But several projects inside the ballot buying shipment that came from the U.S. And we'll open that up, I don't know, next couple of days or so. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did enjoy today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share. And if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.